第一个赛季我们就打进了季后赛，我知道我们所处的位置很艰难，但是我们会全力去拼，让看清我们的对手后悔。
去年的春天，WE拿到了第一个冠军，我很怀念当时夺冠的情景，我很想再重来一次。
我们已经连续4次杀进总决赛了，如果这一次春决没有 RNG 的话，那這個賽季對我們而言，肯定是不夠滿意的答卷吧。
經過11年嘅低谷，我哋重新進入咗季後賽，對我哋嚟講係一個好好嘅開始。我相信我哋呢個隊伍能夠再次創造奇蹟。
很多人說我們是高開低走，但是我相信自己，更相信隊友。季後賽的小道勇士不會讓這次我們的人失望。
Snake 已經不再是一支新隊了。但是這個賽季，我們又找回了最開始的那股衝勁。我們想代表重慶走得更遠一些。
我知道有很多人在等着我回 EDG， 既然現在我回來了，就把你們安排得明明白白的。
我來到 LPL 已經有3年的時間，沒有比現在更好的機會了。努力了這麼久，也該輪到 IG 了。
6 paths, they're calling me Madara. Your guys will hide in the mist. My brothers put iron in fists like Kazuya. Man call me an amateur. I put numbers in squares like dates on a calendar. Had everyone dressed in black like I came here trying to unlock a new character. Had everyone dressed in black with a bottle in hand like Lei Wulong. Walk in a party, see a Barbie looking nice, I just give her a smile and a wink. Could have been dead, I could have been rich, I could have been locked in a cage.
Hello and welcome to the English broadcast of the LPL. Today we'll be finishing up our quarterfinals as BLG will be taking on Rogue Warriors and be going head-to-head today. The winner tonight will also be the LPL's last Rift Rivals representative, so important to remember that one for both these two teams. They'll be joining Royal Never Give Up, Invictus Gaming and Edward Gaming. So a lot on the line between these two teams. You can see the teams themselves getting ready. Amazing Jay just on his phone, I'm sure, looking at some stats. And of course you've got to stay nutritious? That's not a word. It is a word, but not in this context. And you can see you've got to eat your vegetables as well. The teams is getting ready in their ready rooms and getting their strategies together. Fantastic. Good stuff.
I feel like we never get the food that they get, and every single time I see those intros, I'm like, man, where did
I got distracted by the sandwich for sure. My name is Richard Polscam. I'm going to be joined by the rest of the Panda trio. I have Brent Raz Mohammed and Indiana Fruskier in black alongside me. I got tripped up once again. Raz, how are you doing?
I don't know, man. Apparently, I want food now. We've been getting burgers time and time again. If you give me that, I'm ready to go.
Frusk, how are you doing?
Well, only 5 teams left, so let's move it along to 4.
Yeah, let's get in there. And because Frusker was just talking about it, we need to take a look at the teams and how they've been going so far in the playoff bracket. And you can see over on the opposite side, Royal Never Give Up have taken on Snake Sports yesterday and took that 3-2-1. Now moving up against Invictus Gaming in the semis.
Now, the biggest win, of course, is the fact that RNG was able to move on towards Invictus Gaming. Great. Also, the fact that Snake were at least able to take the first game up against RNG first in 3 years, so that was a great milestone, just not enough to be able to get that victory up.
And the thing is looking at this bracket, it's very obvious to tell. We're not going to hide it from you. One side is much easier than the other, which means that there's a very realistic chance that either Rogue Warriors or Bilibili Gaming could make a run for finals.
And while that's true, you never know. Of course, we saw that video piece coming into the day. If Clear Love shows up, that's a completely different Edward Gaming, so we don't know what that semifinals looks like at the very least.
It is very exciting, but we have to focus on today's matchup, which is Rogue Warriors taking on Bilibili Gaming. So we're going to get started on that one. And, you know, we need to take a look at Rogue Warriors. I know a lot of people are going to be watching the playoffs right now, haven't really seen the rest of the season. So, Raz, you take me through the team strengths of Rogue Warriors.
Yeah, very easily. Of course, if you're going up against Rogue Warriors, just a double threat team. Of course, they have SMLZ in the bottom lane, but I want to start off with Duanbi because he has 2 masks. First mask, of course, is the supportive mask. He can play the Ardent Censer, Athene's Unholy Grail, Lulu, Karma has a 72% win rate on those 2 champions combined. Or if he goes back towards the Cassiopeia, Rise, of course, he can play towards that carry style as well, has an 82% win rate on that one. So that is awesome to see coming out of him, and they need to do that going up against BLG so they have mid lane priority. Reason for that is because their primary carry, once they get into the team fights, is SMLZ. Protect this man. Damage share. Gold share. Gold at like 15%. Gold at 15 minutes, of course, for himself. Able to just win in laning phase and get into these team fights and perform massively.
And so the thing is while both teams, Bilibili Gaming and Rogue Warriors, are known for their team fight, how they execute them is vastly different. This is a 4-1 protect the ADC type of composition. And SMLZ, you can see him up on the top side of your screen. He's not just the little Kog'Maw that's going to sit back and let his tanks roll over. He will pick the Kai'Sa. They have been preparing for 8.6. They are more than ready to unleash this weapon.
That's what's surprising, is because throughout the entire season, they showcase that front-to-back style, and to see they can go towards the Kha'Zix and Kai'Sa and start seeing value in Flawless's damage, going into the backline and being able to obliterate both the AD carry and the mage, or at least the mid laner. That's going to be a different style entirely you have to prepare for.
It's their ability to navigate and create chaos in these team fights, their ability to find the flanks. BLG are known for their big 5v5 teleport flanks with the likes of the Ornns and the big tanks. Rogue Warriors are known for the assassins, their ability to slip in and out of vision, get into those backlines, and start snowballing their carries.
That's why, to me, both of these teams, very similar in just team fight focus, very different in how they want to achieve that. This is probably my favorite series in the first round, quarterfinals combined, just because of how they clash together.
It's definitely the most up in the air one. I've called Bilibili Gaming my dark horse of this bracket, and that's simply because we don't necessarily know what form Rogue Warriors are going to appear today.
Yeah, so both teams different in their own ways and still explosive when we get to those team fights. Frask, I want you to take me through Rogue Warriors and how they win the game. So you're talking about SMLZ in the bottom lane. What else do they have?
So I am going to echo a lot of Raz's stats and setting up Rogue Warriors. This is a team that is about their ADC. They remind me very much of old Starhorn Royal Club, the raise the puppy mentality, and where all of their resources just go bottom. Now, to make that work, you're looking at a couple of key win conditions. First and foremost is you need to prepare for the 5v5. So you need some sort of long-range engage tool, and you need to utilize Doinby's champion versatility to make sure that you can get that. If it's Doinby that's taking it for you by having the Scion mid, or if it's the Ornn that's having it for you up into the top side, I don't care how they get it, but they need it, and then they need multiple tank fronts in front of SMLZ.
There we go. And of course, if you're talking about BLG, their win conditions are simple. Play the exact same style that they've brought in with Mole and Chieftain. Play through mid lane, have that early game advantage that they've been able to snowball for themselves, because going up against Rogue Warriors, they seem to have the outright advantage in the early game. They can come out with a massive gold differential in 50-minute mark just because Rogue Warriors have recently fallen flat.
The reality of this matchup is that we're going to be competing for some very similar picks and very similar champions, and it's going to be a matter of who gets what and who executes better on the day, and those are the best types of matchups in League of Legends, when teams have stylistic similarities and we're racing towards the same thing.
But both of these two teams have looked very different in terms of their form coming into the last couple of series. You see BLG just making a surge all the way through playoffs, but the last time that we saw Rogue Warriors, it's pretty much been downhill, and we haven't really seen them change their trajectory in the same way that Snake did at the end of their split.
Yeah, one of the most interesting things about the LPL is we played majority of our split on a single patch. Other regions saw multiple metas come and go, but we played so many games because of Chinese New Year on 8.1.
Of course, looking at the lineup, BLG kicking it off here. Amazing J in the top lane, Chieftain in the jungle, Mole in the mid lane, and rounding out the bottom lane, Jin Zhao and Road.
And I want everyone's eyes to be on Chieftain and Mole in particular. This is the newest duo of the squad.
On the opposite side, they will be facing down Mouse in the top lane, Flawless in the jungle, Doinby in the mid, with SMLZ, the ace, up the sleeve in the AD carry position, alongside Kahlua in the bottom lane.
And to support Frost's point on patch differences, once the patch moved along, it was BLG that moved on and realized quickly that they needed to change up their mid and jungle duo. Chieftain has a real grasp of this patch, and he's able to showcase his strength on these heavy priority movement junglers.
And a reminder that this should also be very bloody in the jungle position. Chieftain and Mole have defined themselves as the #1 enemy jungle priority. They take 57% of the enemy jungle. Flawless on the other side is #1 in solo kills, 85% win rate on Lee Sin, will go for the Kha'Zix, so this should be a Hunter versus Hunter jungle matchup.
That's why the patch means so much, because now that we've moved to 8.6, Flawless has found struggles in this kind of patch where you're going to level 6 rather than finding yourself level 3 ganks, finding early games focus. Kha'Zix is great. Problem with Kha'Zix now is that you have very small windows, and if he's going up against Chieftain, or at least going up against a team that has heavy warding priority on the bottom side of the map, if he can't get that early push, if he can't get an early gank across, he falls behind.
Yeah, Sparks are definitely going to be flying in the jungle and probably the bot lane as well in this matchup. Though, it's question time, so I want to start throwing some questions at you. I want to start off on the Price is Right question right here. How many deaths are there going to be in the bot lane? This is like anyone who turns up to the bottom lane, how many deaths are they going to be?
So including all 10 players?
Correct.
All right. 7. Now I'm
7?
Yes. Because
Raz, you realize that means that out of all 10 players going down bottom, only 3 are going to get out alive.
Hell yes. I'm telling you right now, if we're talking 15 minutes, both these teams are hauling their butts to the bottom lane.
Right.
Every single one of them. There's a team fight happening there.
Right.
I guarantee it.
Before you confirm your answer, Price of Right rules. If you go over, you're wrong.
So all I need to do is say 6, right?
Pretty much,
Okay.
yeah. So are you
Wait a minute.
That, are you going to commit to that one, Raz?
He's already committed. The answer is 6, but the true answer is 3. I think
Uh-oh.
only 3 deaths will be down there, and the important factor is because of Tom Kinch. Super high priority from both these bot lanes. They want to play safe, and you'll have plenty of disengaged duels.
We'll see about that.
But even so, there's going to be blood down in the
is
bottom
this
lane.
guy?
All right, second question, looking towards the jungle here from BLG. Chieftain, we haven't seen a whole lot from him. We saw that kind of coin come out first off because everyone just kept giving him Skarner, kept giving him Sejuani. So if these are taken away from him, what are we going to see?
4 picks is a lot. And they prioritize their jungler in first or at least first rotation. So I don't think he's being forced on a new pick at all.
Yeah, I disagree as well. I don't think we're going to see any new pick come out of Chieftain, maybe out of the Kha'Zix from Flawless, but
Yeah.
I think that it's going to be a Sejuani grab every time it's available.
Yes.
Okay, well, we're on the theme of picks. My third and final question will be towards the bottom lane. Of course, we've got to look at SMLZ because on the last patch, they were still playing Kai'Sa. So is SMLZ going to get Kai'Sa today?
Yes. I think with the Kai'Sa pick specifically, there's a lot of strong laning matchups, and teams will look at, specifically BLG, will try and go for a Varus pick just for the laning phase.
Yeah, I agree as well.
Okay, before we head to the casters' predictions, folks, Raz, start us off.
Ooh, I'm going to go for a 3-2 for Rogue Warriors, because even though we last left them in a pretty bad spot, they have a lot, or at least just a few bits to work on. I think vision control is something on the bottom side they will really work on, and they'll realize that they just have a strong, I would say, wealth of talent on there. SMLZ is going to come out strong in these team fights.
And I'm going in complete opposite direction. I think it's a 3-0 to BLG, and I think they're going to the finals.
Well, split
Wait a
differences
second.
on the analyst desk. You got no time for this one, Raz, because we're going to send it straight over to the casters for the cast. But before we go, we're going to hear from Mouse on how they've been preparing for 8.7.
首先就是就我们有1周休息时间嘛，然后我们会尽力调整自己的状态吧。然后，因为我们其实就比较早适应8.6了吧，所以我们会准备更多的东西来准备季后赛吧。觉得8.6的话，因为羊刀改了嘛，所以就有影响的话，可能就是下路嘛。所以就我们队伍的话，我们比较偏向4保1的吧，所以我们觉得对我们还是很有利的。
Thank you so much, and holy cow, the final round of quarterfinals is already here. I can't believe it. We're about to be down to 4 teams. 10 weeks, nearly 11 are past us, and Champion Select has already begun. Rusty, where has the time gone?
It's just come barreling towards us. We're in the first Champion Select, though. Rogue Warriors BLG. This is a very exciting place to be looking towards as well, because a lot of the questions that the analyst desk may have are already starting to get answered, and then some. The Kai'Sa being removed, of course, at number 1. But before we get into the bans, note that is a first pick. Karma as a denial pick.
It certainly is. Doinby, always known for that. Karma, something he's played since 2015. It's just done so much work for just about any team that he's on, and Rogue Warriors on stage with their brand new spiffy jerseys. The question is this a team that has recovered from their week 8, 9, and 10 difficulties? Though, as expected, they are prioritizing that bottom lane. Xayah and Rakan locked in for SMLZ and Kahlua.
They certainly are prioritizing SMLZ. No Kai'Sa, no problems for SMLZ. He's got a wealth of champions. In fact, I believe he has the most played AD carry champions in general out of every AD carry in the league. Ridiculous amount, honestly. He's got the Sivir in there as well, channels some EU LCS here and there. But they've gone for the duo. They've actually picked it on the red side, meaning that very obviously, if you're looking at the side of BLG with the remnants of their draft for the bottom lane, it could be a Karma, but why not Caitlyn Morgana?
Ooh, a very strong duo. Of course, we've seen Road play this champion already here in the LPL. Jin Zhao taking that Caitlyn so far in the LPL 2018 playoffs. He is deathless in the 2 games that he has played. So another safe AD carry and a black shield to help keep him even safer. So perhaps BLG could be trying to match Rogue Warriors' bottom lane aggression. But now we get to see how Rogue Warriors will respond as Trundle is picked up.
Yeah, throughout all of this, Sejuani actually has not been seen at all. This is something that does need to be raised and noted as well, because Sejuani does seem to be the most important champion in the jungle role for both of these respective teams. And now we're going to a second ban phase with Rogue Warriors having the jungle pick already locked in and secured for themselves. You can already see one jungle ban coming through. I like this from Rogue Warriors, knowing that BLG have prioritized the Morgana because they picked the Karma away and they put the Xayah Rakan in to force the hand of BLG.
So the question is, what does Chieftain end up with in the jungle for BLG? The new jungler, he's played 15 games, 17 if you include his last 2 in playoffs, and this is his first time in playoffs along with Mole. So what do you get for the rookie jungler of BLG? How do you make him comfortable? knowing that you're up against the Hunter of Flawless, who simultaneously is also in his first LPL playoffs. Sejuani will be taken away, so still more pressure towards that mid-jungle duo.
Unsurprising, of course, but at the same time, we're looking at mid-lane bans from BLG, taking them away from Doinby. He also has a plethora of champions that he can play, but right now, because they've got the Karma locked in for themselves, it seems like, firstly, he doesn't want to die, and they want to take away a champion that empowers Doinby with the Cassiopeia. And then secondly, the Galio is gone because it's a nice hybrid between tankiness and damage dealing, and it complements Azaya in the team composition. So now they've removed both of those. Doinby does still have a lot left, but where does he go?
Ooh, this is an older pick for him. Lulu locked in for Doinby in the mid lane.
That is very curious. Of course, he is one of the only Lulu players in the mid lane that you will see in the entire world right now. He has committed to the choice, and now it's often banned away from him more than it's even picked by him. In saying that, he gets it here, and it's into the Karma. So we are kicking it old school right now with this matchup.
Double support mid laners. Doinby, he's played that Lulu 3 times so far and currently has a KDA of 11.0 on the champion, with all 3 of those games being wins. Now that said, that means that the jungle pool is now being accessible to BLG. Chieftain takes his most played with that Skarner, and Swain goes to last pick for Amazing J. Holy, what a draft.
No, there's a high priority on a lot of other roles right now. Jungle didn't necessarily need to be early prioritized by Rogue Warriors unless they wanted to pinch away from their opponents, and that was the choice that they made here. And on the red side, they're actually going to last pick for their top laner and give him a tank as well in the Scion. So knowing the matchup, they choose to give Mouse a losing matchup. It's not great, but you can usually survive it as the Scion, for the purpose of being a tank when you get to the team fights. They have the Trundle there. The Sejuani was banned by them. I personally would have preferred if they picked the Sejuani and banned away these other options from Chieftain, but this is the way that Rogue Warriors want to play this one out. They're playing so front to back.
And this is a composition that they should be familiar with. This is that SMLZ style that allowed them to take their early momentum in the LPL Spring Split, winning weeks 1 through 7, completing the Revenge Tour. But now it's one final stop for the Rogue Warriors as Flawless faces off against his former teammates, this time in playoffs. And with the likes of SMLZ and Doinby in the mid lane, will he be able to claim victory this time?
The Revenge Tour does get a little bit more heated when playoffs are at stake, and it's an entire best of 5 to be playing. Remember, it's not a 1-0 map advantage anymore. Those days are gone. BLG have to start this 1-0, Rogue Warriors with a 0 themselves, and Game 1 now does mean a very generic momentum swing. It's not a 2-0 advantage that you get. It all starts from square one. And through the draft phase of both of these teams, it feels like we are going to get a little bit closer to that late game team fighting where both teams honestly want to be.
Zaya Rakan, Caitlyn Morgana, double supports in the mid lane, though you have to question what's going to end up having more impact between those junglers in the top lanes. The two really sort of different picks between these two to round out their composition.
Certainly the case. Of course, the mid lane, the jungle duos, it's not just going to be individual matchups. That's the place we'll be exploring as we do get onto the Rift. But first things first, we have to hear from the aggressively loud fans sometimes, especially from Rogue Warriors' side, as we do get into this one.
Yeah, they did make playoffs. They proved they were the second best team in the conference. If now's not a time to be prideful, Rusty, then I don't know what is, because we are preparing to load onto the Rift for the final round of quarterfinals. Bilibili Gaming taking on Rogue Warriors.
Get it, BLG.
Yeah. There they go.
Slow to warm up today here in the Shanghai Battle Arena, but at least they are here. You can see all the signs, all the fans. The arena is still very full. Everyone in support of their teams today.
And we have to hope that perhaps BLG warming up a little bit more than their fans in this series. They've got the momentum from their win just 2 days ago over JD.
They're already warmed up.
Yeah.
It was a very clean victory from them as well at that. But this is a whole new can of worms that they have to open this time around. One thing that is consistent, however, between Jingdong, who they beat 2-0 and had the 3-0 set victory, and Rogue Warriors, is that generic early aggression that they often like to show, and that is usually through the mid lane and the jungle positions. So that is the place that we'll have to continue to watch, and how that influences bottom lane is usually the #1 most important thing. When a Zarya Rakan takes on a Caitlyn Morgana, you tend to throw yourself at your opponent to try and trade health and get a small advantage.
And last time we saw these teams face each other during cross-conference, that was with Athena and SKS, so this very well could be a different look for Rogue Warriors against BLG, especially if it is that early-oriented playstyle. Already, though, looking towards this bottom lane, SMLZ and Killua happily take early control over the wave, as is standard for the sniper of the Chinese LPL. And BLG will try to answer it, though. Meanwhile, Jungles starting off on that top half of the map to head bottom.
Starting on the exact same side of the rift, meaning that neither of them get a leash from their respective duo lanes down there in bottom. I think a big part of that is that not only do they want to unlock their bottom lane to push at level 1, they want to ensure that if the opponent does, then they can match it.
Oh, that's a lot of damage. And the Ignite Grand Entrance to escape at sub 100 health. Killua did not want that trade. That's 2 Dark Bindings that he eats.
Yeah, it certainly is. The heal also having to be used by SMLZ, but at the same time, whilst it is a support trading health Killua, he has the unsealed spellbook, so he can come back with teleport, and he's a 3-potion champion that starts in the bottom lane, where AD carries only start with the 1 respectively, and Jin Zhao is someone who traded his health for that. And ultimately, you'd say that's a fairly even trade if Jin Zhao's able to stay in lane, get the fleet footworks off, and Killua is able to hit the Qs like you're seeing from him now and continue to heal himself back up.
And look at Flawless's pathing. He took blue buff, then proceeded to get early scuttle control and a ward in Tribush on BLG's side because Rogue Warriors had that lane control. So you were talking about the early jungle control from these two teams and how it affects the bottom lane. Well, so far, it's already giving Vision bottom.
And this is the second movement from Mole on your screen to place wards down at the Raptor camp. You need to stop getting hit by binds.
Killua is just eating headshot after headshot, binding after binding.
The most dangerous part of this bottom lane 2v2 is when a binding connects and a Caitlyn trap is free to play. So the fact that he's been hit by 3 back-to-back bindings now does force him to go to base, swap to teleport presumably as well, and come back to lane with a summoner spell down. So there's a second summoner spell effectively used by the side of Rogue Warriors for the 1 Ignite of Road.
And on your screen right now, you can see the difference in stats between these teams since week 9. BLG, 2nd, 3rd, and 3rd in win rate, KDA, and gold at 20, whereas Rogue Warriors, the 2nd best team in the league, is at nearly minus 4,000 gold at 20 minutes since week 9. This is the question that we have for the team. Can they recover coming into playoffs? We don't have footage of them making a recovery of this quality, but now's the time for us to see if they have this ability.
Well, it has to happen now or they're going to be eliminated. So this is the moment that they have to show some recovery. Chieftain is looking towards top lane, but is spotted. In fact, both junglers have been spotted, but don't know that the other knows where they are.
It's currently just outside of vision with each other, so the top laners trade, and some wards get cleared out. Flawless with the level 4, 2 Chieftains level 4. Flawless did go double longsword, perhaps a bit more effective stats in fighting if he were to find Chieftain.
And to give some further context as well to the graphic that was on your screen, Week 9, BLG were winning. They were on a tear. They had Mole and Chieftain in the roster. Week 9 of Rogue Warriors and Week 10, they lost 4 back-to-back sets. So their stats are never going to look very complimentary at all. And they've really been struggling lately. But the one strength is the man on your screen right now, SMLZ. He has been in form no matter what the result of their team performances have been. And they've picked a team composition that works almost solely around his strength.
And the challenge is, can he do what he needs to do to win this series, or will BLG be able to shut SMLZ down? We'll have to find out over the course of this game. For now, he's just going to continue farming up nice and happily, as expressionless as ever. In the mid lane, though, the double supports just keep trading back and forth to further emphasize the importance of that bottom half of the map, while Chieftain starts trying to secure some vision.
There is always that lingering concern, however, of having a Caitlyn against a Zarya as the 2 hyper carries that are being empowered here. Just the base range that a Caitlyn has being higher may mean a great deal, as Rogue Warriors are stepping up at the moment, trying to work as a 2v2.
And this is Flawless and Doinby trying to take that Raptor camp, but Chieftain and Mole match the push and secure the Raptor camp for Chieftain. So we are seeing even pace and a smite now used from Flawless.
It's actually because Road and Jin Zhao are unlocked through the bottom lane 2v2. They'll be the first to rotate at any moment because they are consistently pushing in Rogue Warriors 2v2 at the moment. And as a result of that, when Rogue Warriors step up with Doinb and Flawless going into the jungle, they can't fight for it. So they try and steal something away and back away safely. They're lucky they get the Scuttle Crab actually. So it was well done from Flawless to secure that one just in time.
And we know normally these skirmish junglers, these hunter junglers, I believe is the term that we're using, would love to be able to find each other and go for a fight, go for a duel. But for now, it's all about controlling vision. It's all about controlling their lanes, making sure that everything goes all according to plan for these two late-game hyper-carry AD carries. So what is it that is going to break it apart? Will it be someone overextending for vision or lane control opening up at some point that allows this game to really open up? Or is this just going to be a 50-minute farm fest until we get two big AD carries going head-to-head?
This is one of those games where if one of the bottom laners does get ahead, they would be able to carry and do more work because they're supported and empowered by the composition. So there's always a chance that you look towards late game, you look towards the team fights, and that could be a conscious decision from both teams. What I'm looking at, though, as what is going to be immediately more impactful is the level 6. You know, when the Skarner gets there, it was mentioned on the desk as well that this is something that BLG may want to look towards. Well, they've got a Skarner, they've got a Swain, they've got the capabilities of utilizing those two champions specifically to get kills. If they can teleport, and that's what Amazing J does so well, then why not bring them down to a lane that you want to snowball, such as Jin Zhao and Road?
Well, already you just saw some of the stats for Jin Zhao. So far, deathless in the playoffs over the 2 games that he's played. I believe that was a significant gold difference, or sorry, CS differential, 45 CS by the end of his game against Loken. Already trying to take control of that bottom lane, but SMLZ is a bit of a different caliber AD carry than Loken. So it's not going to be quite as easy for Jin Zhao to open up the game this time. Though, if we do see focus on that bottom lane, level 6 rotations from BLG, perhaps they could try to chase that strategy down once again.
There's always a chance that, speaking of rotations, you just don't see Road and he disappears on a merry journey. He's called the Wanderer for a reason, and right now he's level 6 and he's looking towards the middle lane. As well, perhaps an opportunity to get a gank off is the Wanderer.
That's the binding. He's caught Doinb. That's Soul Shackles and Ignite. Another Spirit Link onto Doinb. He uses Wild Growth, flashes away, sidesteps, but it's not enough. First Blood, BLG.
Uses the ultimate, uses the flash and tries to get out alive, but Doinb was already dead. The Morgana had connected the Shackles, the Karma had the Tether, and he was hit by the binding. So without flashing that binding, and that was a surprise binding to be fair, he was dead.
Yeah, and you can see smiles on Rhodes' player cam as he's now going to group up with Chieftain and try to fight over this blue buff. There's no mid laner to give it to, but Teleport is in Doinb's pocket, so he could be trying to prep it for a moment, but Mole is right around the corner and Flawless takes it.
Yeah, he can't prepare it when there's 3 people pressuring just around the area at all, so he has to take it away. He knows that Doinb's not going to get that one, and the Teleport was also used by Doinb, but note that he's gone for a tier on his Lulu, so as far as mana sustain goes, he'll be okay. Just means that he'll be stacking that tier a little bit slower now because he doesn't get that blue buff.
Now the question becomes, will Mole be able to roam outside of this mid lane now that he's got just that one step more? He did start with boots and has an Aegis.
Yeah, he's going Banner of Command. Oh, engage bottom.
Flash engage bottom onto Road. He flashes back. Jin Zhao is going to be turned upon. Black Shield should soak some of this as Ace in the Hole going to be soaked by Kahlua, but just trying to open up the lane, it looks like.
Yeah, it looks like for a lot of pressure, the ability to move now, and the rest of Rogue Warriors are pressuring. They're looking towards the enemy red side jungle, trying to get some picks here and there. But Skarner has the ultimate. Mole always relevant, so it's risky play what they're doing right now, and you can see why. You can see what they were trying to do through the bottom lane being aggressive and controlling the 2v2. It means that Rogue Warriors want to only have 2 people there.
Ooh, Chieftain is back. He flashes in, gets knocked up, but he still pulls Doinb away. That's a teleport. Flash in, but Chieftain goes too far. He dies, and Mouse secures the kill.
I don't think they... Oh, hang on,
He's
Mouse.
actually diving under the turret, and Mole is the target. He flashes to escape, but that's still 3 members of Rogue Warriors in the mid lane.
It feels like they've just matched the 2v2. They bested it, and they raised them a Mouse, and now they pressure for the mid lane outer turret. Only Mole around, and as long as they stand in front of all of the Qs that he throws out, they should be able to secure the objective.
Yeah, they're actually rushing first brick right here, and they take it. Gold split amongst all of them as Rogue Warriors erupt from the brush.
It was very clean from Rogue Warriors, very strong team play from them, specifically the teleport from Mouse as well. I feel like he just got that off. That was the dodger binding.
Road is actually on point with these dark bindings this game. He's been catching Kahlua, he caught Doinby out of the brush. That would have caught SMLZ.
Forcing an ultimate out of Azire is no small feat as well, especially as Morgana. When you hit one more binding, you've got the ultimate available, and there's always a real chance of kill threat now, no matter what happens.
Oh, just outside of range, but Road nice enough to cancel his recall anyways. And still there is another ace in the hole onto Kahlua just to try to claim more lane control. Interesting to see Rogue Warriors fight so competitively over that mid lane. It wasn't exactly the mid jungle, but it was the three members of Doinby, Flawless, and Mouse.
But it was reactionary as well, Dom.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing that you have to remember here. It is the Banner of Command, by the way. You're seeing it on the cannon at the moment. But the problem that supersedes this is that Chieftain went too far. And I feel like that was just mismanaging of cooldowns. Not many people play Lulu mid anymore. He's got the ultimate. He even has it again right now. And even Flawless hovering nearby to clear that is very clever from Rogue Warriors. I think this Lulu just, they weren't prepared, or they don't know how to deal with it, and they don't know the timings, the cooldowns. They didn't know that Mouse had teleport again, and they're looking.
Speaking to the inexperience of the two newcomers of Chieftain and Mole, the two rookies for BLG. Again, they've played 17 games so far this year with this team. And Flawless, while this might be his first playoffs, he's a little bit less green in that regard, as he did play with Aimee previously. Dragon has been baited as Flawless is trying to fight over Vision, but Road is there. And Killua is trying to come up from behind them.
He's just having a cheeky peek. He's not going to find himself the kills, but Rogue Warriors are still looking.
Yeah,
cut off Road.
Fighting over Vision non-stop. Doinby is finally going to catch him. That's the Black Shield. He's got no flash. Remember, they used it earlier, and Doinby autos for the kill. Killua chases on to Chieftain.
No
he
turret.
is so slow, and he still has no flash, and BLG overextend and pay for it.
Massively overextend. The second time now in a row. Mole is someone who's a little bit out of position. Chieftain is the one who has to pay alongside Road, rather, who goes down the Morgana. 2-for-0 trade in front of a Dragon. Rogue Warriors just free to roam from bottom lane, free to make plays as they'd like, and there's no punish. I really don't know what BLG are looking for, especially around that middle lane, when they have no save point of a turret available. It's just super risky positioning. Even stepping up like this against the Trundle, Road runs the wrong way. He's trying to dodge Kahlua, but Doinby's got damage. He's got levels. He's that mid Lulu. And even unfortunately, Chieftain, when he gets the Skarner ultimate off, he's going to be charmed by Kahlua, so they don't really move anywhere. And he does get caught out of position as well. The second member goes down.
So much soft CC catching the members of... Oh, wow, they actually completed the recall. Oops. Jin Zhao might have forgotten about the passive there from the Zaya Rakan. Or maybe he's allowed it so that he can push up this turret. He does have BF Sword and Zerker Greaves.
He was expecting them to turn and cancel the recall, because only one of them was going back to base. But doesn't matter too much in the end. They'll be able to recall for free. They come back to lane. There's some Moby boots as well on the Rakan. He's a speed racer. And he's starting to bring Flawless and everyone down to help.
Yeah, look at how BLG are responding, though. They're pressing up into that bottom side jungle. Chieftain already trying to get some vision. They've got some assistance from Mole, and Teleport is ready for Amazing J. It's not enough to break down that turret and unlock the Caitlyn Morgana, but you can clearly see BLG's strategy still focusing on unlocking this bottom lane. They just haven't quite been able to do it yet.
It's one step closer to getting that lane broken. There's a Banner of Command used down here as well by Mole towards the bottom lane. There was a chance, but they tried to push forwards with that cannon and make the play happen. But they opt out of the situation. I do feel like that's a result of losing two back-to-back skirmishes. They no longer feel as strong as they once did a couple of minutes ago. When we spoke towards BLG, their composition wants to hit 6, use those ultimates effectively. Well, the exact opposite thing happens, and suddenly control and tempo does lie with Rogue Warriors, but it was good damage on that outer turret that may come back to help them in a couple minutes.
And while it might not be a massive advantage for Rogue Warriors, it's 1,700 gold. It's a completed item here, a completed item there. The Abyssal Mask finished off for Mouse's Binding will catch SMLZ. He has no flash as he used it to try to get a kill earlier. This is the fight, and Killua goes in, prevents Chieftain from stepping forward. Finally, the flash nair onto SMLZ. He's still alive. The entire team has showed up to protect him. All 5 members of the Rogue Warriors covering their AD carry. Amazing J will follow him to the grave. Killua goes too deep, but still survives as Rogue Warriors chase it down. Jin Zhao knocked up, locked up a shield, keeps Mouse standing. and it will be 2 kills for Rogue Warriors.
Just weaving in and out constantly. Rogue Warriors, they get themselves the kills and they get out all alive as well. It's not enough health to finish with objectives, but the kills is what matters for them in the end. They are starting to grow a gold lead, and they are completely working around their AD carry. They are supporting their win condition, and they are doing it so well. This is a Rogue Warriors that we have not seen for weeks.
Perhaps just waiting for that right moment to strike and show their true strength at the end of that playoff bracket. As they are now, with those kills, 2,500 gold ahead, they're able to defend their bottom tier 1, though it is dangerously low health. And here's that fight again. It all starts with landing the binding on SMLZ.
And he doesn't miss. Hot hands at the moment is Road on the Morgana, but Kahlua plays this one out expertly, making sure the Skarner cannot close the distance. And then they try and get him to follow up, but by this time, with the amount of time Kahlua had bought, the teleports are here. The Lulu ultimate is there, Flawless has arrived, and Mouse starts charging forwards. And once the reinforcements are there, Amazing J can't get the damage off, and brilliant work from Kahlua one more time. That was such a well-executed team fight from the support of Rogue Warriors.
And this was the expected strength of Rogue Warriors, able to take these 5v5 team fights. They've already got the incredible mechanical proficiency of their AD carry, but it's how the team play around SMLZ, the sniper of the LPL. We got a brief preview there, and BLG, though they've had a few days to prepare, it seems like they were not expecting Rogue Warriors to step up with this level of play.
I think they've just decided to match the strategic style of play. They want to hit that late game team fighting still. They've acknowledged that the Caitlyn rather, will still be able to carry in the late game. And for me, this is reassuring from BLG. It actually shows that they're putting faith in Jin Zhao, someone who was slow to warm up in this split, but really found his footing in the past couple of weeks. Unfortunately, of course, it isn't going to work for them. I admire that they decided to put the efforts towards him, but now you're playing in the ball pit of Rogue Warriors.
Yeah.
You are in their domain trying to match them at what they do best, and you're choosing not to win the 2v2 as Mole out of position.
Oh, he flashes away. Subjugate was used. That's less resistance as Mole is low. Predator as Chieftain tries to follow up, but already they have the kill. Even Killua is on the side just in case. He decides to turn in for the dive. There's still no flash. Another easy kill to Rogue Warriors. This is a scary ball pit, Rusty.
There's not meant to be a lot of damage coming out of this trio, but because they are ahead, you are seeing the damage now start to make a great deal of difference. And they constantly rotate first. They're constantly here first now because they've got that momentum. They've got that vision control. Look at the wards in the red side jungle of BLG as well. They are set to move between bottom and mid consistently. That not only gets them kills, but gets them multiple turrets.
The mid tier 2 broken down, bottom tier 1 going to be taken. BLG shift their AD carry and support to that mid lane to try and protect for anything else, but it's too little too late at this point. They've already lost 3 turrets, and Mouse is going to be buddy-buddy with Flawless to protect the top tier 1. Oh, Mole will stop that recall though. And Rusty, there need to be some warning signs around this ball pit. This was not expected from Rogue Warriors to be coming out in Game 1 against BLG like this. They did not look like this in Week 9 or Week 10.
No, they did not. The contrast is very noticeable. This is something that is much more of a pleasure to watch with the Rogue Warriors roster when you wonder where has this been for so many consecutive weeks. And with the snowball that they've started to get, what was meant to be the foam pit, what was meant to be just foam balls being thrown everywhere, they're actually lead.
They're billiard balls.
They hurt a lot more.
You jump into that pit and it's billiard balls.
Unfortunately, though, for BLG, this delays the spikes.
Yes.
And when you're looking at like mid lane who wanted to control the 1v1 to be free to roam, to be unlocked and go elsewhere, speaking of mid lane, he's okay.
Doesn't even use his ult on himself, just walks it off.
Now back to the point, hopefully they don't fight during that moment. Mole went for a banner of command because he wants to leave lane, but everyone came to Mole. And this is something that isn't a crazy surprise, but I think the way Flawless and Doinby in particular played the 2v2 was good reactionary play. And it shows that with this play in mind, with Mole going for banner of command, wanting to leave lane, the fact that the Skarner came to him to try and help him unlock the lane almost, it felt kind of forced and wasn't really the game plan like in the pre-game and how they strategically wanted to execute. It was almost like they were forced to act there, and then Rogue Warriors had the reaction in place already.
Perhaps this could be the inexperience of these 2 new players for BLG. They're so accustomed to playing around each other. It's given them so much success during the second half of the split. But take a look at the gold difference right now. 1,100 gold for Doinby, 1,400 gold for SMLZ. That's a full BF sword advantage.
And 2,000 gold for Flawless. right now over Chieftain. That is a big Trundle in the jungle. We already saw him diving people in mid lane, and that is not going to slow down anytime soon when a Trundle gets rolling. He doesn't stop.
Oh, it's a collapse into the mid lane. 3 members of Rogue Warriors against 3 of BLG. Chieftain, again, the CC chain just does not stop. Jin Zhao tries to back away, but he's been silenced. Amazing J in the back doing what he can, but SMLZ is in the front. He's killing so many people. That's 1, that's 2. Chasing down the 3rd as AJ will go toe-on-toe with Flawless and Doinby. Does he have what it takes? Flash from Doinby to reset the distance. Flash from Flawless to survive, and now AJ is all on his own. Flashes over the wall, misses the never move, but he is running from the inevitable. Swain might have lost his hand, but this time he's lost his life.
All Amazing J could buy his time, and straight to the Baron buff goes Rogue Warriors after they take him down. He tried his little heart out the Swain, but he doesn't have the team to work with because they're already dead. So straight to the Baron buff. The only opportunity is the Karma to poke, but with 5 alive, he can't get there.
Chieftain has just respawned. He's in the mid lane, visible now to Rogue Warriors, which means they're free to finish off this Baron. 11 kills to 1. And Rogue Warriors are just stomping BLG this game 1.
And this is the powerhouse of Rogue Warriors. You'll watch the replay here coming in. Target selection good from Chieftain. Jin Zhao may have even wanted to tank that with the spell shot at the start, or Road, of course, to hold on to it. But Kahlua finds one, finds the second target and saves the jump to make sure they're all charmed. And just like that, no spell shield, no opportunity to stop them. And SMLZ, he knows exactly what the state of the affairs is here. He is styling on them, going forwards to dodge that binding with the ultimate.
And perhaps that flash into the wall could be indicative of BLG's mental condition in this game 1. Face first into the wall that is Rogue Warriors in this game 1. They've now got 2 dragons and Baron for 3 minutes. No banner of... there is banner of command for Mouse. And this push is real dangerous because that wasn't a teleport play. He was just there.
And you know, speaking of banner of command for Mouse, it's a Swain that he's opposing, so how is a Swain ever going to stop that? They've actually brought him down to the bottom lane to try and help save the turret, knowing the top lane's just going to go. And they can't even really stop this one from happening.
Featherstorm from SMLZ. Flash from Chieftain. Perhaps the wrong direction. He was pretty close to SMLZ in range.
Bit of a whoopsies.
Yeah. All right, top tier 2 taken by Rogue Warriors on the far side. Flash engage. Killua goes in and gets pulled right back out. Visions of Empire, not able to catch anyone, but Rhodes sped up by that Karma, not able to track through that pillar of ice, but
he's
still,
gonna get this.
Mouse is pushing.
No
Nobody
one
is
can
answering
stop him.
this, and it's a fight on the other side. Rogue Warriors aren't letting BLG answer. They're going to look for the delay, look for the kills. Amazing J
SMLZ
is dead as SMLZ is imitating Uzi in this. He steps forward, he's got the damage. That's a double kill, almost a triple. The turret is finished off. He goes up again, the triple kill. Chieftain going to be chased down. A quadra kill for SMLZ. And while Road will escape, Rogue Warriors are saying, end of the line, BLG. This is our game 1.
They just run straight to the top lane where the minions were prepared by Mouse, straight to the Nexus, and they demolish game number 1.
Turning onto it, Rogue Warriors show that the home crowd has been cheering for them for good reason. They have given us tape to show that they can improve, and they take game 1 of this best of 5.
All smiles from SMLZ there, the bottom laner of Rogue Warriors. A major carry for the team as well in this one, and that was a devastating way to start a series.
And look at Amazing J, the shot caller, the emotional bastion for BLG. Hands over his eyes, speaking quite fervently. That was not how game 1 was supposed to go in this expected even matchup.
We said maybe it's new uniforms, new Rogue Warriors, but it feels like the new uniforms have brought back the old Rogue Warriors, the one that we wanted to see through the rest of the split and coming into playoffs. And Mouse did say that they'd been preparing and planning for 8.6, and maybe there was some hurdles here and there in 8.5 in weeks 9 and 10, but they've come into this first set, and they have come at a sprint.
That was a brutal game 1. 24 minutes and 20 seconds. Look at SMLZ's damage, a whopping 20,000. Nearly more than double of anyone else on BLG, with the exception of Amazing J.
Now, I do think a lot of this does come down to the draft, however, as to why the game snowballed out of control so quickly. I think the one problem that BLG found for themselves is that they had to pick the Karma away from doing it, but he's got the Lulu. You have to ban one of them and pick the other, I think, if that's the way you're going to play this game out. Or you give Mole something that he's much more comfortable playing. and it felt like there was a couple of misexecutions in there.
Yeah.
But I would believe that the draft can be fixed, and that can help cover the execution problems with certain champions.
It seems like we saw the intended strategy from BLG drag the game out, go AD carry versus AD carry, but the Caitlyn range versus the Xayah range should work out in their favor.
Yeah.
But they did not get to do that. They just got toppled, what, 12 minutes in, 13 minutes in during the double gank mid?
They also wanted to have a siege composition and get the Caitlyn snowballing as well. Banner of Command to perhaps unlock himself towards the bottom lane mole, but none of these things really went to the plan of BLG, and I think they just need to put more commitment towards their plan, or make the plan much more simple and maybe not revolve around SME, Jin Zhao rather, as heavily in the second game.
Wow, well, we'll see if BLG can recover, though. Their first loss in playoffs so far. Will they be able to get us back? Now it's time for our analysts to break down that game one.
Thank you so much, guys. And it barely feels like we've had a game. That was 24 minutes, and it felt like it was over probably in less than half of that. Frost, I want to start with you, first off, because of your prediction, and second of all, because you were very animated in that last game.
Don't you just love when you don't get a chance to qualify your prediction because you have to toss immediately?
Now's your time, Frost. Give it to us.
So, that game is literally what tilt is made of. If you want to know what it looks like when professional players tilt in-game, you go back and watch that. That was decided off of 2 plays. Number 1, Chieftain forcing the mid lane gank, where he got flanked by 3 people suddenly, and then they lose mid-tier tower, which is so much control, forces the Banner of Command as a priority item, just to try to neutralize the mid lane. And then number 2, Chieftain then tries to run it back down bottom and gank for Road, and Road just I've never seen a support player screw over his Skarner so hard. If I was Skarner, I would have alt F4. I'd be like, I guess that's the game. And then from there, it's draft, you have a Skarner, they snowball super hard, you're like, I don't know, this game's over at 12 minutes.
Now, there was a little bit of disagreement into, you were definitely aligned, but it was just like, when did the game really just die?
Literally 12
and
minutes.
I know there was a slight, a couple of seconds in there. Raz, talk to me.
Because it starts with the pick ban for me at the very least. Because pick ban for BLG, we all liked it coordinated. We thought that it was very structured what they were trying to go for. Caitlyn Morgana is a great combination if you want to deal with the Xayah. Rakan has great range in it, and they played the laning phase incredibly well for themselves.
The best Caitlyn Morgana we've seen.
Exactly, and then their mid lane is they be able to just push into the Lulu, or at least be able to get control mid, move bottom lane, decent siege as well, because they're going to be chipping at the tower, so it was just very structured from them, and so they can move on to the later portions with their scaling around AD carry. Being able to pop that immediately, bad team fights, or at least the first one, you lose mid lane control entirely, and that mucks everything up. Jin Zhao was a non-factor just because suddenly he can't get that push.
But the mentality is that, like, Jin Zhao becomes a non-factor because Road screws up so hard once he leaves lane phase. Yes, he got a decent roam off on the initial mid lane roam, but the idea here is that either Caitlyn Morgana are just going to straight beat Xayah and Rakan and siege the tower first, or Xayah and Rakan are going to push forward and they're going to be exposed. And Skarner is going to bounce between mid lane and he's going to bounce between bot lane. It's either you then eventually overwhelm Morgana and Caitlyn force the tower, or you gank the Xayah and Rakan because you should have control over the river. But that never got to happen because they win the lane phase, Road roams, and then he doesn't keep track of Kahlua, and then suddenly Skarner is forced to try to force a play mid lane, and he's punished.
So are you saying that BLG imploded here, and no matter who they were going against, they would just die anyways? Because we saw this in the mid lane, and Rogue Warriors, yes, they did well to turn it around, but is this Rogue Warriors or BLG?
It's a bit of both, you're right. It was a muck-up in terms of communication and setup for this fight. One thing I do want to call out is the Lulu immediately in pick ban, of course. It's great for defending those plays from happening because mid lane, Skarner's going to look for that gank. He does go for it. But what you don't get to see in that replay is the fact that it immediately follows up because Sion comes through. They even force or look for a dive on towards the mid lane. It doesn't work out, but they get the mid lane tower. And so I love the fact that Rogue Warriors, with the tape that they were able to have onto BLG, that they were able to punish off of that one so easily.
Why are you assuming that Rogue Warriors knew that BLG were going to go mid lane? Like, this is where we have our primary disagreement. There is nothing that says that statistically Chieftain is going to camp Mole's lane and gank them repeatedly to have 3 members there. That was a miscommunication from cross-map. AJ wasn't communicating that the teleport was going to come in, or if he was, his team wasn't listening to him, and they completely lost track of where Flawless was and weren't moving up their neutral vision. If you're going to plan a gank like that, you need to have control of the river before you do it. You can't just ARAM run the Skarner race car style up mid lane and expect not to be punished. Like, that is not Rogue Warriors reading BLG. That is BLG failing fundamentally on setting up for a gank.
But here's the thing. It all starts from pick and ban, ultimately, when it comes to BLG style, because a lot of it comes down to Mole having push priority, and also it's just a partnership between Chieftain and Mole. In this game specifically, because of how the pool comes out for Chieftain, he has Skarner for himself. So you can read the fact that he gets level 6, he's either going to go mid lane or Karma's going to leave the lane. And as long as they're keeping Karma mid lane, the only opportunity for Chieftain to get an in is going to be in a mid lane gank. So I thought they were able to read that perfectly on that draft specifically.
Okay, we're going to run the final fight right here, but the question I want to ask you guys is, Vrosk, you were talking to the champion selection and how it went, and this is a very different style that we saw from BLG. It was very much a siege composition in the bottom lane. They were looking towards different objectives. Now, do you think this was BLG experimenting because they're at the start of the series? They can kind of give this one away as a buffer, or do you think this is just a problem that will continue for the rest of the series?
I think it was a planned read on Rogue Warriors. We know that they like to 5v5. We know that BLG like to 5v5. So why not try to run a siege composition with a Karma, Caitlyn, Morgana, give away the Xayah and Rakan because you know SMLZ and Clue are going to prioritize it, and then either neutralize that lane and then try to siege up and not play the 5v5. But I think it's a bad read simply because Road, while he is a great Morgana in lane, those bindings were beautiful. He played Morgana in the previous series against JD Gaming, and it's just not a champion that suits his style. He likes to put his face in it. Rusty calls him the Wanderer all the time, and he doesn't have enough tools to get out of harm. Like, the Black Shield is not going to save Road when he tries to make those roams and then gets caught out and forces his team into bad situations. I think he needs a playmaker like a Rakan, like an Alistar, like a Tahm Kench.
So to summarize, are you just saying that this is independent of the draft and this was just Road on execution in-game?
I feel like in scrims, Road's probably feeling that Morgana's working really well for them. Their lane phase looks great. They probably feel strong, and so that is what's communicated. But from a 5v5 composition and execution, it's not working for them. It didn't work for them against JD Gaming, and it didn't work for them in this game.
Raz, do you
So
agree?
that comes down to a specific point about style, because I agree about style. Stylistically, that's not what they usually go towards. Ultimately, it's not going to be a criticism on pick ban or drafting when it comes to this. That's because I still thought both teams had very strong drafts, specifically if you were to play them out truly. It's just that BLG, you're right about Road.
It's
in terms of
execution.
executing it properly.
Yeah, no one's going to doubt that both these teams had cool drafts. It's just who was going to execute on the day, and BLG got absolutely smashed in execution.
And also the fact that we saw Rogue Warriors come in form today. You know, that's a big question. Like, we didn't see them bounce back at the end of the season, really, and now we got to see today that they can still pick apart teams when they give those mistakes.
When you give them all of their free picks.
Exactly. Well, we're going to go on to our man of the match, which will be Doinby in this one in the mid lane, but definitely the game broke open before that. But again, supporting the bottom lane, looking towards the composition, Doinby's always going to come up.
Supporting and denying a lot of the pick opportunities, and was the reason why it was just an outright snowball. Because the moment you lose that mid lane tower, the moment you start losing that gold value, then suddenly, the moment you try to pick anyone off, they get ulted, and then they just turn it on.
All right, final thoughts, Vrosk?
Again, it's part of the reason why Skarner fell off so hard is because he was trying to pick into a Lulu who can whimsy, who can turn you into a cupcake, who can then knock someone up. It was just so hard to play into, which changed strategy. Ban the Karma, ban the Lulu, force something else.
Yeah, devastating game one there for BLG. We'll see if they can bounce back. We're going to take a quick break, but we'll be back in 2 minutes.